processes that have led to the current situation in which we find ourselves. You've been telling us about how much you've been giving by government, and also talked about the assets that you've been able to recover, 55 million. Let's get to what you have done, because you've admitted here that some of the challenges could have been prevented, could have been avoided if a few things were done properly. What have you done ever since you had to go through the revocation of these licenses and the cleaning up of the sector?
So just to highlight some of the things that have been done. As Mr. Abibio said earlier, our Act 929, was passed in 2016. Yeah. And the regulations were before the Act, because the regulations were with the previous Act. So we had 2001 and 2003 regulations, and very rigid regulations. So what we did was to go through stakeholder discussions, go through Parliament to amend these regulations. And what have we replaced them with? That's what I talked about, that we've come with stricter licensing requirements. So before you even enter through the door, there are things that you have to do. There's experience required, there's qualification required, and once you are in, what do you do? So the conduct of business is very clear. As I said, we are finding out that some directors didn't even know why they were sitting on those boards. So there'll be training of directors even before they take on their roles. So those two guidelines. And then we realized also that the related party transactions were very, very problematic. So now before you do that, there's a cap, and then the requirements of going through approval are much more stringent than they used to be. So then we've put all these things in place to make sure that there's no recurrence of this activity. And another thing is investor education, because what we've realized is that some people didn't even understand the products they were being engaged. So we've actually put in the conduct of business more of a KYI. So know your investor, know where they stand in life. You can't take a 65-year-old man and give him something that you are investing that will give you returns in 10 years. You know their situation. So we are asking for more engagement, more transparency from the fund managers, because in some cases, there wasn't even a signed agreement. There wasn't enough transparency. So these are some of the things we are doing on the law and the framework to make sure that these things are minimized in the future.